We will preview Buccaneers now and Lions. That's 3 o'clock. We'll get it on NBC. You can also stream that on Peacock, and a lot of people, I guess, signed up for it. So you might as well just use it.
You might as well.
If you got it, might as well
Smoke
use
them
it.
if you got them.
So our coverage will begin at 2 Eastern. We'll be there in Detroit. It's going to be loud. We'll have the double IFBs in. Before we get to my Lions here, and everyone's like, oh, Bucs fans, like, great. I know I was just going to talk about the Lions.
Well, I'm an ex-Bucs player.
You're right.
I'm
So
here,
there we go.
Bucs. Don't
Carry
worry.
the torch.
It's me and the Bucs versus
the torch.
Ahmed and the Lions.
Carry
we're
the
gonna
torch.
We're going to go at it. In fact, we were thinking in the pregame show, just have a wrestling match to the death. You Lions fan, Bucs fan.
Yeah.
We figured it'd get good views.
Yeah, we'll go to someone dies or 3 o'clock, whichever comes first.
Whatever happens first.
Yeah, or sweats through their shirt. Yeah,
we're both in trouble.
We're done. Yeah, we're done immediately here. All right, so let's give some love to the Buccaneers here,
right?
Because I think they probably have not gotten that love because it's all been about the Eagles losing, collapse. But Bucs went out there and they looked like a team that was like, we know this is the playoffs and we're gonna play like it.
Definitely, it's big time. I mean, of course, the thing I like about the Bucs, they're big up front on the defensive line. They got some guys in the back end who are players, right? The secondary, when you get Antoine Winfield, 35. I don't know why 35. I always want to call him Demps, and I blame Jamal Dean. Freaking, I don't know what his name. Jamal Dean. Yep, Jamel Dean. Whatever.
Yeah.
Him, Carlton Davis. Right. Yeah. They're pretty good in the back end there, so that always gives them a fighting chance. Front seven's pretty stout. Offensively, they're in a lot of ways a lot like the Lions on both sides of the ball. Probably a little too over-aggressive stopping the run, but they're going to stop something. Let too many plays in the pass game because they're a little too aggressive stopping the run. You heard me make fun of Todd Bowles a few times during the year, right? Yeah. When they were playing C.J. Stroud, I was like, okay, he's thrown for 400 yards now. Let's stop worrying about the run. Yeah. Let's take that fifth guy off the line of scrimmage. But yes, it's I think their ability to control the line of scrimmage and then an aggressive offensive attack off of that is what makes them dangerous. And they try to stay patient with the run. They're not as good as you guys on the offensive side of the ball. I think they kind of really just found their way like early December, late November, really, right? But I think they're kind of trying to emulate your formula to a degree on that side of the ball. We'll run. When we throw, we're not looking for 5-yard completions. We're looking for 25-yard completions, and they have the talent at receiver to do that, as you saw the other night. And a guy in Baker Mayfield who's got a big right arm, definitely. So that's where I find it encouraging. And like we know the Lions are better, but as we always talk about, like you heard me say last week with the Packers and the Cowboys, the Packers match up really well with the Cowboys. The Buccaneers match up with the Lions. They have aspects of their great run defense. They're not going to have to overplay the run, right? They're going to go, wait, we're big enough here. Like, we know you guys like play action pass a lot. We're not always going to be so aggressive and loading the box and doing that. Yeah. I think they have a good way of, when teams play action, 5-man fronts, and they understand a lot of what teams do off of play action and know, even though there's holes in the zone, of kind of how to play areas and go like, hey, usually in play action in this set, one guy goes this way, one guy goes that way. So you kind of just hang in there and wait for the guy to come to you, and we'll have some people up at the line of scrimmage to stop the run and maybe even pressure the quarterback. Yeah. Those are the things I like about the Buccaneers. This is going to be a physical matchup at the line of scrimmage with some high-flying big plays down the field is what I expect to see.
What can we learn, if anything, from the Week 6 game?
Right.
That the Lions were in Tampa.
Yeah.
They beat them 20-6.
Yeah.
There were some Lions that were out in that game. Jameer Gibbs was out. Brian Branch was out. Jonah Jackson was out. David Montgomery got hurt in the game.
Yep.
It was 20-6, but it probably was a little closer than the score indicated there. And there was one play, the interception, that really turned the tide early.
Remember that?
Key early play. I think we have the all 22 of that. This was a Baker Mayfield interception. Tipped pass.
It's like touchdown.
Could have been a huge play.
I mean, it's going to be a 94-yard touchdown. You could see they blew the coverage, the Detroit Lions. They came up too aggressive, as we talked about, right? The Lions are aggressive on defense. They overplay the situation. So in a backed-up situation like this, they go, well, we think you're going to run the ball to give yourself a little room, so they overplay it. And that's at times what can get them in trouble, right? This is what we talked about in this game, remember? We said if it's 3rd and 5, they play defense to stop the 6-yard pass. If you throw it 20, It'll be open. Think about the Rams the other night. They had 2 3rd-and-1s, and they threw it deep. They said, forget it, because they go all out on the run. They're going to sell out. I don't want to deal with that. We'll fake it and hopefully find a play down the field. And I think one time they did, one time they didn't. But, yeah, this was a 20-6 football game where – hey, the Lions won the game, of course, and both of these teams are different. But I think you could see even in that game, there was things about the matchup where the Bucs can hang in there with the Lions.
Yeah.
And again, Lions make a mistake or Baker gets a hot hand. We know an upset can happen here, especially with the Lions pass defense, as we know, right? It's got issues. The Bucs can pass protect pretty well. So, and you guys don't have the greatest pass rush. Usually to do that, you got to get aggressive and blitz and do stuff like that, to where that's where I think the game can kind of lend us some fireworks in this one here, because the Bucs aren't going to be like, oh, they're blitzing, let's throw the hot route for 3 yards. They're going to go, let's keep another guy in the block and hit Mike Evans 60 yards down the field. That's where they're kind of fun, and that's where I think this matchup can be fun when we tune in on Sunday and we're there.
So here, let's touch a little bit on the Rams here, because I know you looked at the tape here. You looked at the Lions offense, you looked at the Lions defense, and they're, both halves were completely different, basically.
Right.
It was like the first half, it was like, well, this game's going to be 56-55.
Yeah.
And the second half, it was neither team could score and cash in the red zone if you're the Rams there. What was your biggest takeaway first half to second half? Like, what changed for the Detroit Lions there?
It's funny is, like, I thought that I was going to turn on the film with the Rams, right? Because as we were sitting there, I was going, the Rams defense got to do something, right? Remember, I was going, like, they got to go all in and stop one of these things here, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of trying to play it in the first half, like, both ways. Like, we're playing run front, but we're playing pass coverage. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be like, that's cool, but it's the Lions, and they don't give a shit. They'll still run the ball against your 5-man run front. And they're also like, if the numbers are even, right, and it's 7 blockers versus 7 guys in the box, they're like, that's fine with us. We're not looking to always have a 1-man advantage in the run game. They're totally cool with that. They're a team that will run the ball even when there's an extra guy in the box and they can't block it. They're old school that way, right? Like, how did football ever survive without the RPO, right? Yeah. You hear me laugh and joke about that in the viewing room all the time.
You don't always need the numbers.
You don't always need the numbers. There's so many RPOs where I look at it, and sorry, I just spit on the table there, where I go, oh, whoa, they threw the bubble screen for 2 yards. And I go, if he gave the ball to the running back, the hole is huge, and he's going to run for 30 yards. But we go, the numbers. And I want to go, the numbers don't always dictate things. How did Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys run the ball?
Yeah.
How did they do it? How did the Giants do it? I don't know back in the day. Oh, that's right. They fucking left one guy unblocked that made sense. But so my point is the Rams were trying to have it both ways. In the second half, they were maybe a hair more aggressive with, yes, let's not go total coverage in the secondary, but not a lot. The biggest difference was their D-line just played better in the second half, and certainly was a little more physical, aggressive, got off blocks. And I think the other thing that I just jumped out to me, because I was looking going, wait, they're schematically, they're really not doing anything different. Right? But their linebackers, too, in the first half were a little bit like, hey, I'm right here, I'm in my gap. And it's like Raheem Morris had to go, hey, there's like we always talk about, there's a fucking hole there. The running back's about to come in there. Meet him in there. Don't wait him for him to get to you, and then he runs you over and gets 3 extra yards, or he breaks your tackle because you're sitting there flat-footed waiting for him. Like, just go through the hole, and then he's got nowhere to go, and then we'll rally around him, right? And that's where I felt like they started to see it better. They started to be aggressive more that way. And, yeah, forced some 3-outs. Controlled the second half of the football game, really, the Rams did. And they just couldn't, as we talked about Sunday night, I don't think we were wrong. The Lions are tough in the red zone. And that's another good thing about this Bucs team. They're very similar that way. Let up a lot of passing yards. Don't run on us. We don't let you score touchdowns when you get down here. They're the same way you guys are that way. So that's where it's fascinating too. But because you guys can stop the run, when you get down there and you don't have to worry about being spread out, and like I said, the whole field, now, okay, our secondary issues are not really that big of a deal because the field's so tight. And that's where, and you play the proper coverages in the red zone too. You don't take a lot of chances. You understand who plays soft. We kind of keep people in front of us. It's going to be hard for that team to punch it in the end zone. They might get a few yards here and there, but they're not going to get in the end zone.
And then they got some athletes in close spaces like
that.
They
definitely
like
do.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Exactly right. Or tackle, aggressive, instinctive,
Joseph,
right?
yeah.
Anzalone, Campbell playing the middle, all of that. Yeah, you got some guys who certainly are instinctive that way, maybe just not pure man-to-man, shut-down, cover corners in the secondary.
Now, I've made this point many times on this podcast that Matthew Stafford is my favorite quarterback of all time. No offense to the one I'm sitting next to right now on my left, but he was awesome, and he was tough. He showed the toughness that he has shown his whole career, possibly getting knocked out, and some people suggested he faked a rib injury just so that people didn't check him for a concussion, and he could stay in the game. Who knows what he was doing?
That's what I would have done.
There was one play, though, that you wanted to point out in this game that could have swung it entirely, and it was a Cooper Kupp 6-yard pass.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah.
Puka Nacua was open on this.
He was so good in this football game. It's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible.
So why would you pick this one play?
Well, just to go, one, he was, they're not in this game and having a chance to win it if it isn't for Matthew Stafford. He made so many big throws into tight windows with people around him, right? It was incredible. And the game didn't start off the way they wanted to where they could lean on the run game. They got behind, so they kind of had to throw the ball more than they wanted to and never really got it that way.
Williams got hurt at some point.
Right, so, exactly right. I think the Lions did a really good job of mixing up coverages, doing things like that. Your Lions football team, the one thing you heard me say the last 6 weeks, they definitely blitz a little bit more and become more aggressive, and I felt like they played more man-to-man in this football game too, because I think they were a little like, if we play zone, Matthew Stafford's just going to pick us apart. So big downs. Let's play man-to-man, right? We'll be aggressive, physical. If he makes the throw into a tight window, so be it. We can live with that, right?
Yep.
So they did that. But here, this is the only negative play of the football game by Matthew Stafford, and I really fucking mean this. Like, maybe could have hit Cooper Kupp on the first drive on a first down where they settled for a field goal. It should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
But I won't go, it wasn't easy. This play right here, though, it's the last play. It's 3rd and 14, I believe, right? And this is where they were kind of in the, should we go for it? Should we punt? What do we want to do? And you'll see here, right? You got the bunch up top, which they love to do, the Rams. And we look, by all due accounts, we got a man-to-man front, right? And look, you guys are playing 5-man front as usual, being aggressive that way. Okay, so let it go here. You're going to see, I don't know if you got a next screen. Yep, okay, here it comes. You'll see here, he throws the ball over the middle to Cooper Kupp. Oh, this is 2nd down, excuse me. I was wrong on the 3rd down. And you see Cooper Kupp there, gets the completion, but look behind him. You see Puka Nacua?
Yeah.
Now, listen, I know we're just giving you 2 screenshots here, but you're just going to have to believe me. Matthew, there was a big window where he could have hit it. And I don't know what happened, if he couldn't see it quite the right way, if he was just willing to go, let me get a quick completion. Here's the play, but here it is before this. See, right here, the look, you'd go, actually, you look at it and go, I would not throw the ball to Cooper Kupp here. That's going to take an extraordinary throw. Puka Nacua, you could see, is coming wide open over the middle. The Lions messed up the passing off of the bunch there. So he's got him. But it's like on this one, I don't know if he just thought, man, there's no way they'll double Puka, so I'll just take the underneath route. He made his mind up early. But, like, I'm not even overstating this.
That was it.
If he gets ready and throws the ball right here and hits Puka Nacua in stride, by all due accounts, the way it looked like to me on film was he was going to run right out the back door and run for a touchdown. You could see where the safety is, right? And the safety in the deep middle is actually starting to float to the left here. So he was going to catch it on the run going to the right, and it was going to be like nobody's there, and he's going to be full speed and going to split everybody, right?
When was this in the game?
The second to last play of the game. This is like the second to last play for the Rams. The next play is the 3rd and I think he gets sacked on 3rd down, and then they can't go for it on 4th down. Right? It becomes 4th and 14, and they punt it, and you go, they'll never get it back. The Lions are going to keep the ball.
Puffed out my chest.
And there you were. Nostradamus called his shot, and you got it right. I'm not even joking. It's the only negative play of Matthew Stafford the whole football game.
Wow.
The only one. And again, too, to his he's under pressure a lot in this game. He took a lot of hits. He's probably going, wait, I can't take a sack. Let me get the ball out quickly. Let me just keep us in a good situation. And we get into 3rd and 4, I'm guaranteeing we'll get a first down after that. So he kind of predetermined that way, but he's not one to do that. And he's usually one to look for what's the more aggressive killer throw. And that was kind of surprising. I just thought it was worth pointing out. It's kind of a different little nuance there.
Yeah, and the Rams, I mean, they were legit scary down the stretch. 7-1 to end the season. 7-2, I guess, with the playoff loss right there.
Lost to the Ravens in overtime. It was their only loss. Young
defense, probably going to get better here. Who knows? Aaron Donald come back for another year. There's a lot of things to like if you're the Rams. It may be the same thing for the Bucs, because this was one of those years where it's like, you lost Tom Brady. Are we taking a step back? We're all getting older. It's almost the opposite situation of the Rams, right? Rams is like this resurgent team that remade themselves.
Right.
This is from 7th Evan that says Jason Licht, Executive of the Year.
Light, Jason Light. It's spelled Licht, but it's Light.
Jason Light, Executive of the Year. I was thinking of a different guy. This plus Baker's renaissance after backing Brady and a ring. When will this man get his due? Hopefully after ring. Yeah, some people don't even know how to say his name. When will this man finally get the recognition he deserves?
Well, listen, we talked about it a little last week, right? We hit on it last week, and I said, man, the Bucs. I mean, they're $80 million in dead money, right? I mean, they got some things about their football team where nobody's getting respect. They got a rookie in Yaya Diaby that was, a special football player. We talked about, it's Baker Mayfield. Nobody wanted him. We do, all of that. I don't know if you get Executive of the Year because of that.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. I think it's more of what he's built in the past with this football team, that they can still handle $80 million in dead money and go, hey, we're still putting a good product.
Yeah.
Right? But, either way, that's where I'll stick up for Todd Bowles when they were like, he's on the hot seat there too. And I want to be like, what? You haven't even let him spend money and build the team the way he wants to yet. Right? That's kind of crazy to me. And he's won the division twice, and here it's a playoff game. And last year was a weird year. You can't hold Todd Bowles totally accountable for last year. I mean, Brady and the divorce stuff affected the football team. He took a few weeks off in training camp. He didn't play well. It was a distraction. Everything. That's hard for me to just put that on Todd Bowles, right? So, there's all of that. But, yes, Jason Light, Todd Bowles, unbelievable, getting the most out of this football team.
Yeah.
And, credit to Todd Bowles and finally giving up on the pipe dream of, we're going to run the ball and play defense and be that team, and starting to go, wait, that's just not who we are. I'm going to let Baker start throwing the ball a little bit more, and we'll play it that way. And they've been dangerous ever since they made that switch.
If you want to go to this game and you don't already have tickets, it's going to be expensive. Average ticket price is $1,186 according to tickpick.com right now. The highest priced divisional round game previously was last year's 49ers-Cowboys game in Dallas at $605. This is almost double that.
Wow, that's
People
impressive.
in Detroit. I mean, this is what
Detroit's
happens.
going big time here.
They go, we haven't been in this game in 3 decades.
Right.
We'll pay whatever.
Hey, I'm excited to watch this. This is like I was kind of saying, your defense is not great, right? Their only choice or chance is be aggressive, like we talked about. And I think that fits the complementary part of your football team.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that on defense. I'm not always okay with all the fourth down going for it. But
I will say it to you.
Yeah.
In a 1-point game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Laporta 4th and 1. I mean, some teams from the 2-yard line would say, hey, we just need points early. I do think, and McVay, I joke about it, but him punting, it's 4th and 14. What are you going to do?
That was a hard one, right?
But it's like any of those in the red zone, you're at the 10-yard line on 4th down, you kick field goals every single time, and it's a 1-point game. It's like, maybe that was the turning point.
I hear you there. I hear you there. It's a tough decision in that one. It really is. And McVay is not afraid to, go for it or put it all on the line.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of going, wait, we're hanging in there on defense. We're just going to win this one ugly, and we'll kick a late field goal and beat them, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how he went. But your point, certainly real. But just like I said, be aggressive. Hopefully one of our blitzes, as in the Lions, can create chaos and get them behind the chains, right? That's kind of the way they play. They're like, either we're going to get you behind the chains and our offense is going to get the ball back, or we're going to try to get you behind the chains, and the chains are going to move the other way 50 yards down the field, and there's going to be a big pass play. But either way, you're going to kick a field goal, get a touchdown, and our offense will be back on the field again to apply pressure. And I think that's what they are, and I like that for sure. Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Right now, we got Sunday pod, right? So you can have it Monday morning. We recap all the action. Wednesday, it's the What the Happened podcast. We're going to get deep in the weeds on the key matchups of the week. And then Thursday, I'm picking games with that jerk Florio. So you know where to find us, homies. Keep watching. Peace out. We'll see you.